Yes. Hello, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's inaugural webinar. My name is Kamal Kumar, and on the behalf of Aposis Pharma Consultancy, I am here to host the webinar under the campaign Decoding Pharma, a knowledge-based webinar series. Aposis aims to provide its services to aid researchers and professionals reaching their goals. Today, we are presenting a roadmap towards project selection, planning, execution, and submission, presented by Ms. Shipra Karnik. Just before we get started, I would like to inform you if you have any question during the presentation, please type them all in the question box or in the query box. We will discuss after the end of the presentation. Now, without further delay, let me introduce you today's webinar's presenter, Ms. Shipra Karnik. She is a PhD research scholar at Department of Chemical Technology, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Marathwada University, Aurangabad, Maharashtra. She has 3+ years of research experience in the recent pharmaceutical technology, field of computer aided drug design, CADD, molecular modeling in silico structure based drug design, QSAR, organic synthesis, medicinal chemistry, and is still under the process of her research. Her strong academic profile is evident with 20+ international publications in high impact factor journals. I would like Ms. Shipra Karnik to now address the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kishore. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, Mr. Kamal. I'm sorry. I appreciate the introduction. It's great to be speaking with all of you today. Yes. Are you able to see the slide which I have shared?
Yes.
Okay. Fine. Fine. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Shipra Karnik. I'm here to deliver a talk on decoding pharma webinar series on a roadmap towards project selection, planning, execution, and submission. So I have quoted your roadmap, but I have shown a typical iceberg. So yes, it's like an iceberg. So we can always see the tip of the iceberg, that is submitted project, but we don't know about the backhand steps, like what is inside the water of an iceberg. So which is very much important. So the three steps like project selection, planning, and execution before the project submission is very important. So let us start with what is a project. What is a project? Like, it's very basic question. Let us define it. It is a series of tasks that need to be completed in order to reach a specific outcome. Yes, you have to complete the task to reach a specific outcome in a specific time period. As you all know, the project must be completed in a limited time frame. Also, it can be defined as it is a set of inputs and outputs required to achieve a particular goal. Projects can range from simple to complex and can be managed by one person or 100. Here for students, it is one man army, that is one person. And for organizations or companies, it can be a group of employees. So this is a typical definition of a project. Let us start with the first step, the important step, project selection. What it is? It is a process to assess each project idea and select the project with the highest priority. Many project ideas come into our minds, but we have to prioritize it with the highest priority, with the highest expected outcomes. So there are two methods, or I have categorized two subtopics for students and organizations. That is project selection steps for students and organizations. There are 10 rules for project selection for students. There are basic rules, but very important. Like first, define the purpose. Many a times I have seen that students have misunderstanding, like why we have to do the project, why there is the project in curriculum, that is at the end of the curriculum, like after 3 years of degree, in the fourth year, they are compelled to do the project. So most students take it for granted and think it is just a small part of curriculum which has to be completed for good grades. Like मुझे credits चाहिए, मुझे marks चाहिए, मुझे complete करना है. So, but this is not the main purpose of the project. The main purpose the students should understand. The main purpose is whatever they learn the theoretical aspects, they have to apply on something practical, some real life example. This is the main purpose of the project. So that they can validate their theory of understanding and see whatever they have learned during their curriculum is correct or wrong after applying in the project. So this is the way they can learn the process of execution of project and get themselves ready for the industry. So this is the main purpose of the project. Second is don't chase the goal, but chase your goal. Yes, every student should have a fixed goal in their mind, like what they have to do, what job they want to have, what company they want to work with. All this should happen at very early academic stage. So fine, if it doesn't happen, every student must visualize and talk to people in industry or seniors, like whether you would like to do it for many years, the job, what is the job for, what is the daily work in that job. If yes, then probably that's the field you want to work in. Then once you have finalized the field, you can think of what project topic of work you need to do. Yeah. Uh, I've seen many students get attracted to catchy titles and flashy words. Like in chemistry, for example, yes, I will do molecular, in silico studies, molecular dynamics and all. In pharmaceutics, I have seen that, yes, I will design a tablet, I'll design nano micro emulsions and all. But this is very much unplanned. Like unplanned selection of project won't help to get their dream career or job. So you have to very much plan it and then apply. So select project based on what you want to do in the future. Like for example, someone wants to work in the formulations of someone has passion for pharmaceutics. Please don't go for other project subject. Then yes, so that is the gist of don't chase the goal, don't chase flashy titles, catchy titles, flashy words, but chase your goals. Third is understanding importance of project. Yes, project is very important. Every student must understand this. Your job and higher education area is based on what your project is about. project can decide your whole professional career. Like I've said earlier, if you have passion for chemistry, then don't go for pharmaceutics related project. So this is just first understand the importance of your project, your subject, and then decide or select it. Then fourth is know what you know and what you don't. Uh, Everyone requires prior knowledge of whatever you want to do in the project. Like you have to be very clear about the required knowledge or required tools or techniques to work on the selected project. Some basic fundamental knowledge or software related knowledge is very essential. Know what knowledge you already have and what new learning you require. Calculate the time according to that. Whatever you require to learn, calculate the time in hand and then select the project. If you don't have much time, then reduce the complexity of the project and understand what you already know and what new knowledge you have to learn in the allocated time frame, because for project completion you are very time bound. Very less time is there for project completion for students. Then fifth is sooner the better, later the worse. So it's a fact, like start early, go slow. Whenever we start the journey, elder people always tell us like start early, go slow, explore, enjoy the journey, right? So this is the true fact with project selection also. Start early, go slow. Many students have come up with brilliant idea of project but lack sufficient time. Due to this, they end up wrapping up the project as fast as they can. So the brilliant idea becomes a normal and regular project. Gaya, brilliant idea to gaya, right? So don't start your project at the final semester. Just start learning new techniques and at the end of that apply on your project. Just start priorly. Like if you are in your second or third year, start applying, go to lab, talk to seniors, talk to your guide and explore it. Okay. Then in a gist, like start early, go slow, explore more and enjoy the journey. Enjoy your project journey. It is compulsory. I know it is very much boring, but it is very much enjoyable. Trust me. Then sixth is know your guiding light. Here, guiding light is your guide or mentor. Everyone needs at any point of time in their life a guide or a mentor, a good guide and a mentor. Some genius people don't need them. I don't know. These are different species. Let's keep them aside. But yes, juniors here seek guidance from seniors who have been through similar situation or have been through the same work or carried out the similar work. If you're doing something new, new and challenging, you will definitely need a guide during this journey. I have come across, like it's my experience, many students don't get required guidance at the required point of time. But it is also responsibility of student to find out which professor you want to work with. Explore the professor's research areas, explore your research interest and match your research interest with the required professor's research areas. Uh, Professor can provide guidance for selected project. That professor, is it a correct professor? Will he provide correct guidance to my selected project topic? You have to find it out earlier. This is very important. Don't select a guide based on who is easygoing and who can give you good grades or good marks. Most of the time, students fall prey in this. Select guide on your project requirement, not on his nature or yes, ये सर तो बहुत अच्छे मार्क्स देते हैं, चलो इनके पास ही जाते. No, select guide on your project requirement. Find correct mentor for your project. Then seventh is not everything is possible. Yes, every student must understand not everything is possible. Don't go for complex definition of the project. Do understand that you have limited time. You have to complete your project in a limited time frame. So don't take up complex projects which are impossible to complete. and because of that you will land up in doing something which is unplanned, which is not sure. So define simple projects to start with, complete the process, and then maybe try for the extension work of the project. Yeah? But first complete whichever is decided by you, whichever is planned by you. Plan and promise based on how much time you have to work on it. Okay. Then eighth is understanding the simple and complex. Yes. Some students lack the understanding of complexity of project. Some students also say that this is too simple work for me. Won't do this work. This is very much simple. Even some professors do assign complex work to students, which they are unable to complete in a given time frame. So it is essential to understand the complexity as well as the simplicity of your project. So sometimes what you are defining as simple might be very complex, and what you are defining complex might be impossible to do in a given time frame. So understand that not everything is possible. Then ninth is the cliched student thought. Yes, this I have seen a lot. Most students say that this is the last task, like क्या project करना है, बस वाइवा देना है, presentation देना है, खत्म. But that's not the case. Go out and present your work at conferences. Go and publish the paper. This is the end of the project, at least the academic project. Don't just stop at final project presentation and be happy about the grades. Yeah. Go and complete the process. Extract maximum possible from the work. If your project is correct, if you have done it, if you have done a very good project, it's definitely worth sharing with whole world. Present it to the outside world. Get chance to talk with experts in the field. Get chance to talk with be with the similar mind people. So this is really a great learning experience, awesome learning experience, trust me. Last one is you cannot dig a well with fork. Yes, uh, you will need right tools for doing the job, right? So most of the time you find that someone has done the similar work before, but what tools or techniques the individual have used, you do not focus on that. You need to have a really strong literature survey to find what tools and techniques that person has used for similar kind of work. You need to select right tools for doing the project. Just you can't expect that every tool can do everything. Like this software he has done, it will be great if I use the same software. No, your project is different from his project or his work. So do good literature surveys, find right tool, know the limitations of tools, and finalize which one you're going to use for the project. That is the main gist, that you cannot dig a well with fork. Okay. So these are the 10 rules you must understand. Every student must understand before selection of project. Then for organizations, there are two main methods. Uh, benefit, benefit measurement model, which is used if your project is not very complex, that if it is small and simple, and constraint optimization method if your project is a large and complex. So these are not only limited to the organizations. Many funding resources, funding agencies do apply these methods when reviewing a proposal. So what are benefit measurement methods? Yes, this is a project selection technique based on the present value of estimated cash outflow and inflow. Yes, cost benefits are calculated and then compared to other projects to make a decision. These are certain techniques which you can see, like benefit to cost ratio is measured, economic model, economic value is measured, scoring model, payback period, net present value, discounted cash flow, internal rate of return, and opportunity cost. These are certain techniques which are measured during the project, during the project selection. Then constraint optimization methods, also known as mathematical model of project selection. Uh, certain techniques, 5 basic techniques, which are linear programming, non-linear programming, integer programming, dynamic programming, multiple objective programming. This is required. This method is required when the project is large and complex, which involve large mathematical calculations. So this is all about project selection. Next step is project planning. Yes, planning is the process of defining your objectives and scope, your goals and milestones, and assigning tasks and budgetary resources for each step. This is a typical diagram of project planning cycle. So identify the project scope, then define project schedule, identify project resources, identify project budget and cost, then project quality, then comes project risk, and then project communication. So there are two methods of setting goals. One is SMART and other is CLEAR. SMART method helps to ensure that the goals have been thoroughly examined. And CLEAR method is a newer method which takes into consideration the environment of today's fast-paced businesses. We'll go into detail of SMART method. Yes, SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. Specific, what specifically you plan to do. You have to define certain objectives for your project. Then measurable, how much, how often. Achievable, how confident are you that you will be able to accomplish your goal. Relevant, is the goal worthwhile? Will it meet your needs or society's needs? And timely, when will you complete this step by? This is very important. Second method is CLEAR. CLEAR stands for collaborative, limited, emotional, appreciable, and refinable. Collaborative, here the goal should encourage employees to work together. Here it is not only limited to the employees, but certain institute professors or teachers should collaborate with other institute professors, which can take their outcome, which can complete the project in a given time frame. So collaboration is very much essential nowadays. Limited, they should be limited in scope and time to keep manageable. Yes, because you have limited time frame, you are very time bound. The scope of your project must be very much manageable. Emotional, goals should tap into the passion of employees and be something they can form an emotional connection to optimize work. Yes, your employees should be emotionally connected with each other. They must support each other to optimize and complete the work. Appreciable, break larger goals into smaller tasks that can be quickly achieved. Yes, it is self-explanatory. Refinable, as new situations arise, be flexible and refine goals as needed. This is about CLEAR method of project planning. This is all about project planning. Now, project execution. Yes, you have selected a project, you have planned a project. Now, this step is most important of all. Project execution, which is the phase in which the plan designed in the prior phases of the project life is put into action. This is the most important and longest phase of your project management life cycle. There are certain steps for organizations and steps for students. Not much difference, but still I have. For organizations, you must develop a team of good employees, assign resources to them, execute project management plans, procurement management if needed, procurement of your resources. Project manager directs and manages project execution. Set up tracking systems like timelines, Gantt charts, or Google Docs, Google Excel files. Task assignments are executed. Status meetings, yes, every now and then meetings must be scheduled. Update project schedule, modify project plans as needed. These are the journal steps. For students, they must prepare a rough draft. Many a time student has some idea in his mind. So jot down on a paper, prepare a rough draft and go to your guide. Identify and gather resources which are required for your project execution. Procurement of reagents and chemicals. Then project guide or here principal investigator directs and manages project execution. Update daily tasks. You can prepare Google Excel files or Google Docs for updation of your daily tasks. Task assignments are executed. Status meetings with guide. This is also very important. You have to keep updated your guide every now and then. Update project schedule and timelines. Modify project plans as needed. This is all about project execution. It looks very simple, but it is very important phase of your project life cycle. Last comes the tip of the iceberg, that is project submission, which is project is to be submitted in the form of a detailed report, draft, or manuscript. These are some general points to prepare a manuscript or a draft or a report, project report. It must include title. Your title must be very catchy and short. Some 60 to 80 words abstract of your project. Keywords, main keywords are very essential. Objectives, what are the objectives of your project? Then introduction, some short introduction of the studies carried out before and what you will be doing in the project or what you have done in your project. It comes under introduction. Literature survey, other technical background like if anyone has carried or worked on that tool or software or that method earlier, it should come in technical background. Methodology, whatever methods or reactions or procedures you have carried out, you have to enter in the methodology section. Then results and discussion. Yes, your results can be positive or negative. Whether positive or negative, you have to enter and results in the result and discussion point. It is very much important that you enter everything in this. Expected outcome. What will be the expected outcome from your project? What is the expected outcome? You have to write it down. Conclusion, the main gist of your project. Benefit to the society. What your project benefits to the society, that must be included, and references and bibliography. So with that, I end my talk and I'll be happy to answer questions, if any.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Shipra. The whole presentation was very informative and helpful for students to reach their career goals. Not only students, but also you were able to cover funding proposals and organization-based project planning. We will go ahead and take some time for question now. Just a reminder, please be sure to type your questions in the question box in your control panel. It looks like it looks like we have a few questions. We have a question now. How to handle our execution of project in drug design? Ms. Shipra.
Okay. So first you have to go through project planning step. Should I share the screen again? I'm sorry. Kamal, should I share the screen again?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay, okay. Just share my screen, this screen. Okay. Okay. Yes, how to handle project execution and drug design, right? You have to first define the project, what topic you want to carry out the project in. Like select the project, as I have said, plan project according to what resources you are needing, what knowledge, prior knowledge is essential, or what tools you must be needing, what software you must be needing, and then you can execute the project. Like drug designing, if you have to carry out synthesis also, then you might be requiring chemicals or reagents. So if you want to execute the project, project selection and planning is very essential. Hope I answered your question.
Okay. Next question is, how does our project help us to get a good job?
First, you have to be very clear in which department or in which subject you want a job. Like, for example, if you're interested in formulation, then opt for project in pharmaceutics. It is very compulsory. If you are passionate about analytical chemistry, then you can opt project in HPLC or GC or anything like analytical related. So first define what career you want to choose or what job you have to land in, and then you can define the project or you can carry out the project.
Okay. Now the next question is, what are the key aspects to design a funding proposal?
Okay. You have to first identify for which funding agency you are designing a proposal. Every funding agency has their own guidelines of project submission. So go through that. For example, if you are designing for ICMR, it has different guidelines. For CSIR, it has different guidelines. But basic, you will get general points. These points are very essential. These are very basic and important points, which are included in the designing of every funding proposal.
Okay. Now the next is, what are the steps for publishing the projects after their completion?
Okay. Uh, First, identify your subject scope. If you have carried out the project in synthesis or drug design, identify which is a high impact journal, which has good Scopus index. So, if you have carried out in drug designing and synthesis, then EJMC, European Journal of Medicinal Chemistry, or ACS publication journals are good. If you have carried out your work in pharmaceutics or formulation related or natural products, then accordingly you have to select a good journal and uh, design your paper or your work in a manuscript, and then you can submit it.
Okay. The next question is, how to select a proposal journal for our how to select a proper journal actually for our manuscript.
I think again same question. Define your subject and then you can select a journal. Many journals are available, many publishers are available. Like for chemistry, as I am chemistry based, so I know some publishers like high impact journals, ACS publications, or elsewhere journals, or RSA publishing. So know your subject, and accordingly you can also ask your guide. He can guide you to identify a good journal to publish your work, your manuscript.
The next question for preparation of M-Form. What are the steps for preparation of M-Form?
Preparation of M-Form. Okay. Like M-Form in which subject specifically or in general?
In general.
Okay, but there isn't any preparation for M-Form. You have to just clear GPAT and have good marks in your bachelor's B-Farm, and you can apply for good colleges if you have qualified GPAT examination. So you can just see the colleges list, like good colleges list. And also you can, if you're qualified GPAT, you can apply for NIPER. They have their entrance exam, and you have to qualify their entrance exam, and you can apply or you go in NIPER also.
Okay. We have one question from medicinal chemistry. How can I get notified of very good projects of chemical science?
Okay, of chemical science.
Yes.
Uh,
This is fundamental medicinal chemistry.
okay, okay. You have to look out for, or you can also ask these APOSAGE people for these projects and whatever your career related queries. They have good team, so they can guide you very well, even in project selection also, or whatever your journal selection or funding agency selection. They can guide you, or else ask your teachers or guides or seniors, if any.
And the next is, how can we go for patenting project? Which free drug design softwares are available?
Okay, patenting project, and is it two different questions?
No, it's a single question.
Okay, you want to patent your project,
Yes.
but you have a query
Free
of
drug design
free
software.
drug design software.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Many free drug design softwares are available for academic use. You can just see Chimera, Autodoc, or for simulations you can use Gromax. Then I'll share you a link in which there is a list of freemium softwares, premium as well as free open source softwares. I will share you the link, or I'll share with Mr. Kamal. He
Okay.
can.
And the next one.
Hmm.
So it's all over.
Okay.
Now it looks like we have covered all of our questions.
Okay.
Ms. Shipra, is there anything else you wanted to cover before we wind up?
No, I have covered the basic gist. If any problems or questions, you can contact me on my mail, karnikshipra@gmail.com, if you have any queries, or you can post your queries on info@aposage.com also. They can answer your queries. And yes, I thank Aposage and Mr. Kamal for giving me the opportunity to talk, giving me a platform. So yes, I thank you. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Ms. Shipra, and thank you everyone for attending today's webinar. If you have any other questions, please contact us through the details provided by on the screen. Once you leave today's webinar, you will receive a survey cum feedback form on the presentation, and we would appreciate if you would complete that and provide your feedback. You will also receive a follow-up email within 24 to 48 hours with your e-certificates and the link for YouTube channel with the video of today's webinar. Our next webinar is on learn how to innovate your intellectual property. So if you guys are interested, please do join us. Till then, for more updates, stay connected and follow us on Instagram @Aposase. On behalf of Aposase and our presenters, thank you for joining us today and have a great day ahead. Thank you.